Okay, so you know how sometimes you feel like you're talking to a brick wall?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of how it feels, trying to figure out who those anonymous visitors on our websites are.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
they're there, but we have no clue who they are.
Right.
So today's deep dive is all about a tool that claims to solve that problem. TrafficID by Brandwell.
Interesting.
It's supposed to be able to tell us who those visitors are,
Huh.
and even some personal details about them.
Wow.
Okay.
Which sounds a little creepy, I know, but also kind of amazing, right?
Yeah.
Because wouldn't it be awesome to actually know who's checking out your site?
It would.
Would not just see numbers on a screen?
Yeah, it's so frustrating. You go into Google Analytics, you
Right.
see all this traffic, it's just numbers.
Exactly. Just numbers, and you're like, okay, great, but who are these people?
Right. Are they even real? Sometimes
Oh.
I wonder.
So that's what we're going to unpack today, this TrafficID thing.
Again?
You've been looking into it, right? Yeah, I've read a bunch of articles, and it's pretty fascinating how they're approaching this whole thing.
Yeah. So what's the deal? How does it work?
Well, it seems like they're going way beyond what traditional analytics tools can do, like Google Analytics, for example.
Right, which we all use.
Which is great, don't get me wrong, but it only tells you so much.
Right.
Like, how many people visited your site, what pages they looked at, but it doesn't tell you who they are.
Right. It's like seeing a shadow but not knowing who's casting it.
Exactly.
So how does this TrafficID thing actually identify these people?
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. It's this whole data co-op network thing.
A data co-op, what's that?
It's like, imagine a bunch of different companies all pooling their data together
Okay.
to create these super detailed profiles of individuals.
Huh.
So TrafficID taps into this network, right? And when someone from that network lands on your site, boom, TrafficID can potentially identify them.
Whoa, hold on. So they can see their name, their job title, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, potentially. They say it can even pull up LinkedIn profiles sometimes.
Wait, seriously? Just from visiting my website?
Apparently, it uses a combination of stuff like cookies, IP addresses, device fingerprinting.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But also a little scary, to be honest.
Yeah, the privacy implications are definitely something to think about.
Right, because if they can do that for me, they can do that for anyone.
Exactly. And that's something the articles really stress, like, companies need to be super transparent about how they're using this data.
Right, of course.
They need to update their privacy policies, give people a way to opt out.
Yeah, all that stuff. Make sure they're complying with the law.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's say I'm okay with all that, the privacy stuff, and I decide to try TrafficID. What kind of information are we talking about here? Like beyond the basics.
So it's not just like demographics, it's
Right.
not just like their age and gender and stuff.
Right.
It's also behavioral insights, like how they're actually interacting with your site.
Oh, okay.
So what pages are they visiting?
Mm.
How long are they staying on each page?
Oh, wow.
Are they scrolling all the way down?
Okay, that's interesting.
What content are they clicking on?
So I could actually see if someone's like really reading my blog posts.
Exactly. Or if they spent 10 minutes on your pricing page.
Whoa.
That's valuable information.
Yeah, that is valuable.
Yeah.
It's like before it was just a mystery. You just saw a
Ah.
bunch of hits and you're like, okay, great, but what does that even mean?
Exactly.
Now you can actually see what they're doing.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so we're getting a little glimpse behind the curtain here.
Yeah.
But I want to know more about how this actually plays out in the real world.
Okay.
Like, what are businesses doing with this information?
Yeah.
How are they using it to get results?
Right.
Give me some examples.
All right. Well, one of the most compelling things I read about was how agencies are using this.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like, imagine you're an agency that specializes in lead generation, right? They can use TrafficID to identify potential leads for their clients
Oh, okay.
and then gather all these insights about their behavior and then create these super targeted outreach campaigns.
Wow. Okay, so they're like a data-driven matchmaker.
Exactly.
They're connecting businesses with their ideal customers.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and because they have all this rich data from TrafficID, they can create these campaigns that are so personalized and so effective.
And that's what we all want, right?
Yeah.
Effective campaigns.
Right.
Not just blasting out generic messages to everyone.
Exactly.
This is about targeting the right people with the right message at the right time.
Exactly.
So it's a win-win for both the agencies and their clients.
Right.
The agencies get to offer these cool new services, and the clients get these amazing results.
Exactly.
Okay, this has all sounded really good, but I got to ask,
Yeah.
can they really identify every single visitor?
That's a great question, and to be honest, probably not.
Okay.
I mean, their network is huge, but it's not foolproof.
Right.
There are always going to be people who, use VPNs or browse in incognito mode.
Right, or just aren't in their database.
Exactly. So you have to have realistic expectations.
Okay, so it's not a magic bullet.
No.
But even if they can identify a portion of those anonymous visitors, that's still a huge step forward, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's like, imagine going from seeing a blurry image to suddenly having it come into focus.
Right, exactly. It's like, oh, there you are.
Right.
Okay, so we've talked about the how, we've talked about the who, but let's talk about the why.
Okay.
Why should businesses care about this?
All right, well, think about it this way.
Mm-hmm.
For so long, we've been marketing in the dark.
Right?
We've been guessing about who our audience is, what they want.
Mm-hmm.
TrafficID gives us the power to actually know,
Right.
to understand our visitors on a deeper level.
Mm-hmm.
And that knowledge is incredibly valuable.
Okay, I'm following you. So how does that translate into actual business results?
Well, think about it. When you know who your visitors are, you can tailor your content to their specific interests. You can personalize your marketing messages. You can create more effective sales strategies.
Okay, so it's not just about knowing who they are.
Right.
It's about using that information to improve everything you do.
Exactly.
To make your marketing more targeted, more relevant, more effective.
Exactly. It's about taking all those anonymous visitors and turning them into loyal customers.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's a pretty big deal then.
Yeah. I think it has the potential to be a game changer.
Okay, so we're starting to see the potential here, but I want to dig deeper into the specifics.
Okay.
Like, how are businesses actually using this information to get results?
All right, well, let's start with one of the most obvious applications, personalized outreach.
Okay, yeah, tell me more about that.
Imagine, someone just spent 10 minutes on your product page.
Okay.
You can send them a targeted email or a LinkedIn message that speaks directly to their interests.
Okay.
You can answer their questions, offer them a special deal.
So it's not just, hey, check out our stuff.
Right.
It's like, hey, we saw you were interested in this. Here's more information. And by the way, we have a discount just for you.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like finally having a way to connect with those shadows who've been visiting our sites all along.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so personalized outreach, what else?
Well, another powerful application is lead scoring.
Lead scoring, okay. Tell me more.
So traditionally, lead scoring has been based on, basic demographics.
Right, like their job title, their company size.
Exactly. But TrafficID brings in behavioral data.
Oh, okay.
Which gives you a much richer picture of a lead's intent.
So it's not just who they are, but how they're interacting with my site.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Like someone who visits your pricing page multiple times and spends a good amount of time there, that's a much stronger buying signal than someone who just glanced at your homepage.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
So you can prioritize those hot leads.
Exactly. And TrafficID can actually adjust lead scores automatically based on that behavior.
Wow, okay. So your sales team can focus their energy on the right people.
Exactly. No more guessing games.
Right. No more cold calling random people.
Exactly. They can go after the people who are already showing interest.
Okay, that's a game changer. So we've talked about personalized outreach, lead scoring. What other cool stuff can you do with this?
All right. Well, one area that I think is really interesting is how TrafficID can be used to build a more effective content funnel.
Okay, a content funnel. Yeah, tell me more.
So, we all create content for different stages of the buyer's journey.
Right, top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, all that.
Exactly. But traditionally, we've had to rely on assumptions about how people move through that funnel.
Right. Like, we think they'll read this blog post, then download this white paper, then request a demo.
Exactly. But with TrafficID, you can actually see how people are interacting with your content in real time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you can move beyond guesswork and use data to guide your content strategy.
Okay, so instead of just hoping people are following the path we laid out for them,
Right.
we can actually see what they're doing and adjust accordingly.
Exactly.
Where-
That's amazing.
Like, imagine knowing that visitors who read a specific blog post are more likely to download a white paper.
Okay.
And those who download the white paper are more likely to request a demo.
Okay, so you can see those patterns.
Exactly. And you can optimize your funnel based on that data.
That's incredible. It's like having X-ray vision into your content funnel.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're starting to see the power of this tool, but I want to keep digging.
Okay.
What other cool things can we do with TrafficID?
All right, well, let's talk about retargeting.
Okay, retargeting. Yeah, everybody loves retargeting.
Right, but with TrafficID, you can take retargeting to a whole new level.
Okay, how so? Let's say someone visits your website, browses a few product pages, but then they leave.
Right, the classic cart abandonment scenario.
Exactly. But now, with TrafficID, you know who that person is.
Okay.
You know what they were interested in. So you can create ads that follow them around the web.
Right, those ads that are like, hey, remember us?
Exactly. But now, those ads can be so much more targeted.
Okay.
You can remind them of the specific products they were looking at. You can offer them a special discount.
Right.
You can even personalize the messaging based on their behavior.
Wow. Okay. So it's not just, hey, you forgot something in your cart.
Right.
It's like, hey, we know you were checking out these awesome shoes. They're still waiting for you. And by the way, they're 20% off this week.
Exactly.
Okay. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's a way to turn those lost visitors into paying customers.
Okay. So we've covered personalized outreach, lead scoring, retargeting. What else? What else can we do with this?
All right, let's talk about account-based marketing,
Yep.
or ABM.
Okay. ABM. That's all the rage these days.
It is, and for good reason. It's about targeting those high-value accounts.
Right. Those big fish you really want to land.
Exactly. And TrafficID can be a huge asset for ABM.
Okay. How so?
Well, let's say you're targeting a specific company.
Mm-hmm.
TrafficID can tell you if anyone from that company has visited your website,
Oh, wow.
and then you can see what pages they visited,
Okay.
what content they downloaded, how
Okay.
long they stayed.
So it's like having a secret window into what they're interested in.
Exactly. And that information can help you craft these hyper-targeted marketing campaigns.
Okay, so you can tailor your message to their specific needs.
Exactly.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a way to really personalize your ABM efforts.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, but I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier.
Okay.
Privacy.
Right.
I know we talked about transparency and opt-out mechanisms, but are there any other things businesses should be doing to make sure they're using TrafficID ethically and responsibly?
Yeah, that's a really important question. I mean, anytime you're collecting personal data, you need to be extra careful.
Right.
So beyond the legal stuff, it's also about using that data in a way that aligns with your values.
Okay, so it's not just about following the rules.
Right.
It's about doing it right.
Exactly. Like, are you using this data to help people?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you using it to manipulate them?
Right. Big difference.
Huge difference. So it's a conversation we need to be having as an industry.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a powerful tool, but it comes with great responsibility.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about TrafficID, but I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
Are there other ways to identify website visitors?
Yeah, there are a few other options out there.
Okay.
Some of them are more focused on identifying companies, not individuals.
Oh, okay.
Like, they use reverse IP lookup to see which companies are visiting your site.
Okay, so not as granular as TrafficID, but still useful.
Exactly. It depends on your needs.
Right.
And then, of course, there's Google Analytics.
Right. Good old Google Analytics. Can't we get some insights from there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, GA4, the latest version, has some pretty cool features for understanding your audience.
Okay.
It gives you demographic data, interest categories, even some behavioral insights.
Okay, so it's still a valuable tool.
Absolutely. And it's free, which is a big plus.
Right, right. Whereas TrafficID and these other tools are paid services.
Exactly. So, you know, budget is always a consideration.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so we've got a few different options here.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like the best approach is to figure out what your needs are,
Right.
what your budget is,
Mm-hmm.
and then choose the tool or combination of tools that makes the most sense for you.
Exactly.
Okay, this is all really helpful. I'm feeling much more informed about this whole visitor identification thing.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
But before we move on, I want to touch on one more thing.
Okay.
It's this idea of a paradigm shift in marketing.
Okay, yeah.
We're moving away from the days of anonymous visitors and generic marketing blasts,
Right.
and towards a future where we can actually know who our audience is
Mm-hmm.
and connect with them on a deeper level.
Exactly.
It's both exciting and a bit daunting, you know?
Yeah, I agree. It's a powerful shift.
So for our listeners who are intrigued by all this and maybe even a little bit scared, what's your advice?
Embrace the power of data, but use it wisely
Okay.
and ethically. Remember, behind every click, every visit, there's a real person
Right.
with their own needs and their own values.
Hmm.
So if you approach visitor identification with that in mind, I think you can achieve amazing things.
That's a great point. It's not just about the numbers.
Right.
It's about the people behind the numbers.
Exactly.
Okay, well, this has been an incredibly insightful conversation.
I'm glad you think so.
Thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your expertise.
My pleasure's been fun.
Okay, so to our listeners, stay tuned for part 2, where we'll dive even deeper into the world of TrafficID and visitor identification.
Looking forward to it.
We'll explore some real-world examples of how businesses are using this technology to get results.
That's good.
And we'll talk about some of the challenges and ethical considerations that come with it.
Can't wait.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning.
Okay, so we left off talking about all the cool things you can do with TrafficID, but I want to keep digging deeper.
Sure.
What other strategies are businesses using to really maximize the impact of this tool?
Well, one really powerful strategy is using that TrafficID data to create super specific retargeting campaigns.
Oh, okay, retargeting. Yeah, tell me more about that.
So, we all know how retargeting works, right?
Mhm.
Those ads that follow you around after you've visited a website.
Right, they're everywhere.
Exactly. But with TrafficID, you can take retargeting to a whole new level.
Okay, how so?
Well, because now you know who those visitors are.
Right, you have their information.
Exactly. And you know what they were interested in on your site.
Okay.
So you can create ads that are way more targeted and personalized.
Uh-huh.
So it's not just those generic, hey, come back to our site ads.
No, not at all. You can remind them of the specific products they were looking at, maybe offer them a special discount, or even personalize the messaging based on their behavior.
Wow. Okay, so it's like that little nudge that says, hey, remember that awesome thing you were checking out? It's still here waiting for you.
Exactly. And because those ads are so much more relevant and tailored to their interests, they're way more likely to click and actually buy something.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's all about speaking directly to their needs, right?
Precisely. It's about making those ads feel less like annoying interruptions and more like helpful reminders or even personalized recommendations.
Okay, so we've got personalized outreach, lead scoring, retargeting. I'm sensing a theme here. It's all about using data to create more personalized experiences, right?
Absolutely. And that's really what TrafficID enables you to do. It takes the guesswork out of marketing and allows you to connect with your audience on a much deeper, more individual level.
Okay, so let's talk about another hot topic, account-based marketing, or ABM. How can TrafficID be used to enhance those efforts?
Well, ABM is all about targeting those high-value accounts, right? The ones you really want to land as clients.
Right, the big fish.
Exactly. And TrafficID can be incredibly powerful for ABM because it can tell you if anyone from those target companies has visited your website.
Oh, wow. Okay, so instead of just hoping they find you, you can actually see if they're already checking you out.
Exactly. And not only can you see that they visited, but you can also see which pages they visited, what content they downloaded, how long they stayed on each page, all that good stuff.
So it's like having a secret window into what your target accounts are interested in.
Exactly. And with that knowledge, you can create ABM campaigns that are laser-focused and super relevant to their needs and interests.
Wow, okay, that changes the game completely. So instead of just sending out generic marketing materials, you can tailor your approach to each individual account.
Precisely. And that level of personalization can make a huge difference in closing those big deals.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so we've talked a lot about how businesses are using TrafficID, but I'm also curious about how agencies are leveraging this tool. Any insights there?
Oh, absolutely. TrafficID is a game changer for agencies because it allows them to offer a whole new suite of services to their clients.
Okay, like what?
Well, imagine an agency that specializes in lead generation. They can use TrafficID to identify potential leads for their clients, gather insights into their behavior, and then create those hyper-targeted outreach campaigns we talked about earlier.
So they're not just building websites or running ads anymore. They're acting as strategic advisors, helping their clients understand their audience and reach them more effectively.
Exactly. And because TrafficID provides such rich data, agencies can create these highly personalized and effective campaigns that deliver real results.
It sounds like a win-win situation, right? Agencies can expand their service offerings and their clients get access to a powerful lead generation tool.
Precisely. And because TrafficID integrates with so many popular marketing and sales tools, it's easy for agencies to incorporate it into their existing workflows.
Okay, this is all incredibly insightful, but I want to circle back to something we discussed earlier, privacy. We talked about
Sure.
transparency and opt-out mechanisms, but are there any other things businesses should be doing to ensure they're using Traffic ID ethically and responsibly?
Yeah, that's such an important point. Anytime you're dealing with personal data, you need to be extra careful and thoughtful.
Right, it's not just about following the rules, it's about doing what's right.
Exactly. You need to make sure you're using this data in a way that aligns with your company's values and respects the privacy of individuals.
So it's not just about collecting data, it's about using it responsibly and ethically.
Exactly. And it's important to stay informed about evolving privacy laws and regulations to make sure you're always in compliance.
You know, as we're talking about all the amazing things you can do with Traffic ID, it really highlights how much the marketing landscape is changing. We're moving towards a much more personalized and data-driven approach.
I completely agree. It's exciting to see how technology is empowering us to connect with our audience on a deeper level.
But it also raises some important questions about privacy and ethics, right?
Absolutely. We need to be having these conversations as an industry and make sure we're using this data responsibly and thoughtfully.
Well said. Okay, so for our listeners who are eager to explore these new possibilities, what advice would you give them as they navigate this new world of visitor identification?
My advice would be to embrace the power of data, but always use it wisely and ethically. Remember that behind every data point, there's a real person. Treat that data with respect and use it to create experiences that are helpful, relevant, and valuable.
That's a great takeaway. It's not just about the numbers, it's about the people behind those numbers.
Exactly.
Okay, well, this has been an incredibly insightful conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise.
It's been my pleasure.
To our listeners, stay tuned for part 3, where we'll continue exploring the world of visitor identification. We'll discuss some alternative tools and dive into some of the challenges and ethical considerations.
Looking forward to it.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning. So you mentioned there are some other tools out there besides Traffic ID,
Right.
ones that are maybe more focused on identifying companies.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you tell us a little bit more about those?
Sure. So these tools basically use reverse IP lookup.
Reverse IP lookup. Okay.
Yeah, so every device that connects to the internet has an IP address, right?
Right.
And these tools have these big databases that link those IP addresses to specific companies.
Yeah.
So when someone visits your site, they can see, oh, this IP address belongs to, say, Acme Corporation.
Gotcha. So it's not telling you who the individual person is.
Right, exactly. You won't get their name or their job title.
But you'll know what company they work for.
Exactly, which can still be incredibly valuable, especially for B2B businesses.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if I know someone from a company I'm targeting is checking out my site, that's a huge signal.
Absolutely. It's like a virtual receptionist telling you, hey, someone from Acme Corporation is browsing your products right now.
Right. So maybe I should reach out to them or something.
Exactly. And the cool thing is, a lot of these tools integrate with CRM systems.
CRM systems.
Yeah, customer relationship management systems.
Oh, okay.
So you can automatically enrich your lead data with company information.
So my sales team doesn't have to waste time manually looking up company names and stuff.
Exactly. They can focus on actually connecting with those leads.
That's pretty cool.
Eh.
Okay, so we've got Traffic ID for identifying individuals, and then these reverse IP lookup tools for identifying companies.
Right.
What about our old friend Google Analytics? Can we get any visitor insights from there?
Yeah, Google Analytics can definitely provide some valuable information about your audience.
Okay.
GA4, the latest version, has some pretty cool features. You can get demographic data, interest categories, and even some behavioral insights.
Oh, okay. So it can tell me things like their age, their interests, maybe what kind of device they're using.
Exactly, but it won't give you individual identities or company names.
Gotcha. So it's more about understanding your audience as a whole.
Right, exactly. It gives you a broader picture of who your visitors are and what they're interested in.
Okay, so it sounds like there are a lot of different options out there for getting visitor insights. And each tool has its own strengths and weaknesses.
Absolutely.
So it's really about choosing the right tool or combination of tools that best meets your needs.
Exactly. And your budget, of course.
Right, because Google Analytics is free, but these other tools are paid services.
Right, so you have to weigh the costs and benefits.
Exactly. It's all about finding that sweet spot.
Absolutely.
You know, as we're wrapping up this deep dive into visitor identification,
Yeah.
it really feels like we're on the cusp of a whole new era of marketing. It's like we're moving away from the days of mass marketing and anonymous visitors and into this new world where we can actually understand and connect with individuals on a deeper level.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It is. But it also comes with a lot of responsibility.
Oh,
We
absolutely.
have to be mindful of privacy. We have to use this data ethically.
Definitely.
It's a powerful tool, but we have to use it wisely.
Couldn't agree more.
So for our listeners out there who are excited about these new possibilities, but maybe also a little bit unsure where to start,
Yeah.
what's the one piece of advice you would leave them with?
I would say embrace the power of data, but always use it wisely and ethically.
Okay.
Remember that behind every data point is a real person with their own needs, their own desires, their own values.
Right.
So treat that data with respect and use it to create marketing that's truly helpful and valuable.
It's a great point. It's not just about the numbers, it's about the people.
Exactly.
Well, this has been an incredible conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today.
It's been my pleasure.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of visitor identification. We hope you learned a lot, and we encourage you to keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning. Until next time.